So, well, you say you're woke, but the companies you work for, I mean, unbelievable. Apple, Amazon, Disney. If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent, wouldn't you?
You gotta love Ricky Gervais just exposing Hollywood like this when he hosted the Golden Globes. Hollywood prides itself on being the leader for social justice movements. They pretend that they have no flaws and act like gods amongst mere mortals. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, there have been many scandals that were kept deeply under wraps to protect the status of the Hollywood elite. Now, I must warn you, some of the details in these cover-up stories can be hard to hear, so if you're of the faint at heart, I urge you to look away. Welcome to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and if you happen to be new here, we cover all things television, movies, and beyond the screen. So hit that subscribe button to join our notification squad, and make sure you stick around until the end to see if your comment got featured. Plus, leave us a comment down below with which scandal that you wanted to see included in our part 1, and while you ponder that, let's jump right into the top 10 Hollywood scandals that were covered up part 2. In at number 10, George Raft. George Raft was a stylish leading man that took roles in a ton of gangster and mafia style movies. He always would play the tough guy, the convict, or the rough mobster, although it was his real life association with the mafia that pushed casting directors to lean in this direction. George even said that he never regarded himself as an actor. He said, "I wanted to be me." But you can't let that kind of information out to the public, it'll destroy the prestige of Hollywood, so instead they hid his mafioso background and kept casting him in roles that fit that persona. Although as much as Hollywood tried to hide it, the mob didn't care to. In fact, it was Bugsy Siegel, a known mobster with movie connections, that helped George break into Hollywood in the first place. Even while filming the 1932 Scarface movie, people like Al Capone kept showing up on set, and reportedly it was Capone teaching the director how to fire a Tommy gun while filming that really started to draw attention. In at number 9, Marilyn Monroe. I'm sure we could do an entire video just on Marilyn alone, but unfortunately we don't have the time. Her real name was Norma Mortensen, but later in life she would transform into this pop culture icon that for the most part was considered to be the standard of beauty. She was married 3 times, but after the 3rd divorce, her life began to get really rough. This is well before TMZ though was ever a thing, so any of the drama in Marilyn Monroe's life was hidden away. After the divorce, she was being brought around to Hollywood parties to entertain the executives. It was rumored that she had brief romances with people like Marlon Brando and Frank Sinatra. Oh, and let's not forget the time that she had an affair with John F. Kennedy while he was the President of the United States. And I don't want to sound like some sort of conspiracy theorist here, but Monroe was found dead in her home 3 months after that affair. Something to look into. In at number 8, Roman Polanski. March 10th, 1977, Roman Polanski conducts a photo shoot with an underage woman at Jack Nicholson's house. Then Jack's girlfriend at the time, Angelica Huston, came home to find the director's jacket along with some cameras. Moments later, Polanski and the young woman came around the corner. Roman introduced this girl to Angelica and said that they had been taking photos. And the victim, Samantha Geimer, would later testify that Roman gave her champagne and then forced her to have sex with him when she was only 13 years old. People found Polanski to be so prolific that they were willing to turn a blind eye to his nefarious behavior just so that they could remain on his good side and, well, be in his films. However, his victim uncovered this scandal when she alerted the authorities as to what had just happened to her. Roman pleaded not guilty and then immediately fled the country. Even 26 years later, he could not accept an Oscar for his film The Pianist because there was still a warrant out for his arrest. On May 3rd, 2018, the Academy finally recognized what a creep that he was and announced that they were going to expel Polanski. In at number 7, Charlie Chaplin. Now I understand how that name may form a thought in your head that says, no, not Charlie Chaplin, what did he do? However, this scandal only slightly involves Chaplin, but regardless, he was smack dab in the middle of it. William Randolph Hearst was an evil businessman, politician, and newspaper publisher. Hearst believed that Charlie Chaplin was having an affair with his mistress Marion Davies. However, instead of just confronting Chaplin, he invited him and a number of other important film industry professionals to join him on his yacht. Amongst them was Thomas Ince. Thomas was a Hollywood producer looking for new investors to keep his studio afloat. Now what you have to understand is that during this time the newspaper was really the only way that people got their information, and William ran the newspaper. So naturally when Hollywood producer Thomas Ince was shot, the story was just buried. What actually happened was Hearst was trying to shoot his gun at Charlie Chaplin on the yacht, but missed and killed Thomas Ince instead. And the scandal was uncovered once the LA Times ran ran with the headline, "Movie producer shot on Hearst yacht." And now to move on to the Me Too portion of the video, and like I said earlier, some of these details may be very hard to hear. In at number 6, Jeffrey Tambor. Working as an actor for nearly 4 decades, Jeffrey Tambor's career came to a screeching halt with the start of the Me Too movement. At the time, his career was at an all-time high. He was set to star in the show Transparent and take part in the comeback of Arrested Development. Slowly but surely though, women started coming forwards, and they all shared an eerily similar story of Tambor making rude sexual comments towards them. One of his accusers even said that Jeffrey had been watching her sleep, and his ex-assistant on the show Transparent eventually broke her silence and opened up about what really happened on the set of Transparent, and as a result of her claims, he was fired from the show. In at number 5, Louis C.K. For years, Louis C.K. denied any and all claims made against him that he ever acted inappropriately with women. Even when rumors began swirling on Twitter, friends like Jon Stewart were quick to come to his defense. However, once the New York Times published their article detailing the pattern of Louis' sexual misconduct, nearly all of the comedy community let the cat out of the bag. Once it was made public, everyone was coming out of the woodwork to say that they knew that he had strange sexual desires all along, but worked with him regardless.
You always find yourself back to a moment of, did I miss something? Could I have done more? Or the thing. And in this situation, I think we all could have.
Also, you didn't see in that clip, but Matt Lauer was the one who asked Jon Stewart how it felt to hear Louis admit what he had done. Now, get ready for the next person on this list. In at number 4, Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer is a former television news anchor and co-host of NBC's Today Show, as well as a contributor for Dateline NBC. His Me Too accusations shocked many fans due to his often smiley and wholesome demeanor. The exact same month that he was covering the news about Louis C.K., he too was exposed as one of the most extreme cases and explicit forms of workplace harassment. Out of all of the reporters that had been Me Too'd, Lauer was the worst. More than 10 women who worked for the network had complained about harassment by Matt, but nothing was done. As the story unfolded, his case became even more frightening to take in. Apparently, he had installed a button underneath his desk that would allow him to close the office door while seated so that he could lock his victims in the office with him, which sounds like something a supervillain would do. And in his apology statement, Lauer said, "There are no words to express my sorrow and regret for the pain I have caused others by words and actions. To the people I hurt, I am truly sorry." You're only sorry that you got caught. Nice try though. In at number 3, Kevin Spacey. Kevin for a long time was by far the most demanded actor of his generation. His library of roles was huge and his fame made the actor seem untouchable. Then Broadway actor Anthony Rapp came forward and accused Spacey of forcing himself on him when he was only 14 years old. Following that, 15 other men came forward accusing Spacey of a similar experience. His career was pretty much cancelled at that point, but Kevin found a way to make things even worse for himself. In his apology, he took a moment to come out as gay, for which the LGBTQ community denied any association. As a result of these accusations, Spacey was fired from House of Cards and was removed from the film All the Money in the World, and safe to say the only acting that he'll be doing now is probably on his YouTube page. In at number 2, Harvey Weinstein. There are not too many cover-up scandals like the case of Harvey Weinstein. The way this man rose to power was by co-founding the entertainment company Miramax with his brother Bob. After leaving Miramax, Harvey and Bob would go on to found the Weinstein Company. They were a mini major film studio that was casting some of the top names in Hollywood. However, Harvey's sexual abuse was out of control. In 2017, 6 women filed a lawsuit against Harvey, claiming that there were actions being taken to cover up the assaults and they amounted to civil racketeering. In the lawsuit, they also said that there was a coalition of companies and people that took part in what they referred to as the Weinstein sexual enterprise. After the legal process was started, over 80 other women came forward to accuse Harvey of sexual assault. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Bill Cosby. You had to see this one coming as our number 1 spot. I mean, come on. Rightfully so. What this man did was absolutely deplorable. Cosby was found guilty of 3 counts of drugging and assaulting Andrea Costrand in 2004, and more than 60 women have accused Cosby for years of inappropriate behavior. At 80 years old, Bill Cosby is most likely going to die in prison, which is just absolutely wild considering that for the longest time we referred to him as America's dad. His dark scandals were hidden by everyone that worked closely with him, and the women that tried to speak up were silenced. Although, thanks to the brave victims that stepped forward, Cosby's cover-up is finally over. And that has been the top 10 Hollywood scandals that were covered up part 2. Thank you for watching Top 10 Beyond the Screen. If you enjoyed this video, then show us some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you give us a follow on Instagram for tons of behind the scenes content. Links for that will be in the description below. And while you're there, why don't you leave us a comment with your thoughts on this list. Plus, for more videos like this one, all you do is tap that playlist when it comes up on your screen. From Beyond the Screen, my name is Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy. I need water. And throughout her childhood, she was shuffled between orphanages. Like to burp mid-sentence, where you're like, because I can't say orphanages. It sounds weird when I say it. I don't know. Working as an actor for more nearly 4 decades. Wow. English, do you write it, Johnny?